My name is Ashok Kamareddy. I'm the CEO and co-founder of VeryApt. So VeryApt is reinventing a $15 billion rental brokerage industry by replacing traditional brokerages with a tech-enabled concierge rental platform that makes finding the perfect apartment seamless and easy. We're live in 3 markets currently, doing about $125K a month in net revenue, and we're raising capital right now to get to more markets. So it's important to start with just the customer journey. So every customer that starts on VeryApt is engaging with our 60-second onboarding, which allows them to answer questions about their search. So everything from commute, price range, amenities. We take all of that data, layer it with all of the inventory and availability we have, and provide a list of curated recommendations that the customer can then explore. We have apartment reviews, neighborhood reviews, and all of the content is designed to help the customer get a better sense of what to expect when they actually move in. When they're ready to learn more, they get connected to one of our concierges, and this is where the experience becomes really unique. So instead of having 10 parallel conversations with different leasing agents continually re-explaining your search, you instead work with one single point of contact that handles all of your scheduling, your application process. And when you're ready to schedule your tours, we send automated requests through our back end. Within 24 hours, you have a confirmation email, a calendar invite, you know who you're going to be meeting. When you're ready to apply, we handle all of that online. And when you apply to an apartment and you move in, we get paid by the properties. Usually it's a percentage of the annual lease. It's averaged out to about $1,000 per move-in. So what makes this unique, really, it starts with our inventory. So because we're kind of in that middle ground of we have access to MLS inventory and we can work as a real estate agent, but simultaneously can build relationships with the large national REITs, we're able to have more inventory than kind of our 2 competitor sets. Our concierges are all salaried, kind of following that Redfin model, so that they can work really aligned with the customer, making sure they move into the right place, and you're never worried about their incentives. They work as a team, so we're really efficient about passing our customers across the funnel. And then lastly, the technology is what ties our online experience, what you expect from an ILS, with the offline handholding that you get from our concierges. So one of the things we're really excited about is really changing how people think about their apartment search. So my background's online travel, and you'll frequently hear people say that half the fun of planning a trip, or half the fun of going on a trip, is really planning that trip. You will never hear anyone say that about their apartment search, and a lot of it has to do with bait and switch listings and really all the logistics you have to handle. So with VeryApt, by handling all of those logistics and making sure you can trust the data we get on our site, our customers actually enjoy the search experience. We see over 200 of these reviews on Trustpilot where people not only found the right apartment through us, but really enjoyed the experience. So in terms of early traction, doing $125K a month in revenue. Philly was our first market. It's about 2 years old. We've launched 2 new markets in the last year, and we're currently raising $4 million to get to our next 4 markets. In terms of just the opportunity, really, a lot of the innovation we saw over the last few years, people looked at Craigslist and said, how can we build a better UI? How can we build a better kind of just platform, but still thinking about it the way that Craigslist thinks about inventory? Our view is, how do we really build an end-to-end solution that starts capturing the $15 billion in offline rental brokerage revenue that needs to move online over the next few years? We've already seen this happen on the home sale side. So the evolution's kind of gone from just traditional brokerages to Zillow and Trulia. And then we start seeing Redfin and Compass trying to take that end-to-end approach. We think that's what's going to happen on the rental side, with VeryApt leading the way there. In order to make the process very efficient, we've had to take a lot of the parts that a traditional agent does and make them a lot more efficient. Part of the automation is really around the scheduling side, making sure we have up-to-date pricing and availability, so connecting pricing feeds. And then finally, just making that application process seamless so we're not wasting time on things that really should be all electronic at this point. In terms of just growing a market, Philly's doing about $1 million in revenue this year. We expect in 18 months for it to be doing $3 million. And then kind of think about how big Philly can be in about 3.5 years, thinking about it doing about $7.5 million in revenue, which would be about 4 to 5% of the market. And then Philadelphia itself is about 1% of the rental market. So lots of room in similar cities to Philly. In terms of just our partners, we work with a lot of the national REITs and property management companies. Greystar is our largest partner. We've been really instrumental in some of their lease-ups in Philly, where we filled over 10% of the property. And then finally, on the kind of like how we're thinking about expansion and our raise, it's really around getting to more markets quickly. New York is slated next. You can see that Miami is actually on the calendar for the next 18 months. And then finally, just to leave it on our team slide, I'm happy to answer questions on that, but we have a really talented team. Scott, who's one of the co-founders, is in the audience as well.
how are you generating traffic and leads?
The majority of our traffic comes from SEO. My background at TripAdvisor before this was SEO and paid search. So we've kind of the traditional online channels. One of the more unique things we do, so the apartment reviews is what drives a lot of our long tail traffic, but it's really a highly qualified customer. And then in addition, we build housing guide partnerships with large universities and employers. So we have over 50 partnerships with places like Wharton Business School, Children's Hospital, where we get customers right at the point at which they're looking for a new apartment.
So do you have any data on the renters you place? Do they match up with the renters that they get directly? Are they longer, more valuable, less valuable?
Yeah, I mean, still, I guess like we're kind of at that, even our oldest cohort of people, they're about 18 to 24 months in. So it's not a ton of data in terms of like how long they stay. But what we have is our customers convert on tour much better. So at the early part of the experience, properties really like working with us because they know when someone comes in from VeryApt, they have a much higher likelihood of converting than someone that just sort of walks in or comes in through a Craigslist.
And you might have touched on this, but I just want to make sure, is this a technology that an existing brokerage that's established in a market could use to be 3 times more efficient, or are you keeping that to yourself?
So we don't currently like basically license that out. It would be a slightly different product because it just, when you think about like how a agent works at like Keller Williams or Berkshire Hathaway, they are all independently commissioned. So just how they handle kind of, a lot of our technology works because we're able to sort of compartmentalize or specialize different functions across the funnel, but it can certainly be adapted. It would just be kind of a different, revenue stream.
So Mike, what I was trying to get to there is how do you defend against competitors adopting the process that you've established?
Yep. So basically, like the fundamental, and really why we like tackled this space is saying like the way traditional brokerages are built, there is no real centralized way for them to sort of adopt technology because they're like the actual brokerage structure, they're not able to sort of invest in technology and say, we're going to build a CRM system and we're going to actually make everyone follow this process because everyone they're working with is an independent contractor. So part of the reason why Redfin works on the home sale side is they can be like, hey, a lot of things everyone is doing are really inefficient. Let's see what the best agents in the market do, and let's actually institutionalize this and build technology that allows them to work that way.
Are you exclusive on the supply side, meaning a building is with you and you only?
No. So I think one of our views is that properties are going to continually want more options as marketing channels. So we do have unique inventory, as in it's not on, on apartments.com or it's not on the MLS, but we don't ever have exclusive contracts where they're like, they cannot advertise anywhere else.
So what's your cost of acquisition for supply?
It's really, there's not like a per unit cost, but we essentially look at a new market and say it's going to cost about $500K to launch a market similar size to Chicago, and during that time period, we will add about 1,000 large buildings. So it's not we're not paying per unit. Basically, we will, as we're working with customers, we will onboard apartments as part of that recommendation process.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ashwit.
Sure.